Haven't had tremendous luck with this. This is an 800 grit cork polishing belt. I'm going to see how it works going from 150 to this today. Okay. Let's see. On this side last. Okay. Feel a burr basically along the entire length. I can feel a burr. Let's see if it's sharp. It's not shaving hair. It feels sharp coming across the edge this way. At the base it's catching, but it's not really sharp anywhere else. I think this 800 grit belt may be great for just polishing, but it's not a great sharpening belt from what I can tell. 7/16, and we're on to sharpening. The most expensive sharpening system I have, and I have several sharpening systems, would be my belt grinder. And I can put a razor sharp edge on a knife. It's just what I've tried to do with that 800 grit cork belt. It doesn't seem to put a razor sharp edge on it. Maybe if I stropped this from where it is right now, it will suddenly become lamb's wool. Right. Anyway, maybe I can take that 800 grit belt and make a razor sharp knife, or make a knife razor sharp, but that's not what I'm going to do. I haven't figured that out, so instead I'm going to use a different sharpening method. I have an Arkansas stone. I have a Lansky angled or guided angle sharpening system. I have water stones. You've seen me use those before. But I also have Spyderco Sharpmaker, which I think is what I'm going to use this time. This is a double bevel kitchen knife, and I was sharpening it fairly evenly from left to right. So I'm going to use a guided angle sharpening system, starting with diamond rods, just to make sure that they are the right angle. I also have a work sharp knife and tool sharpener, which obviously you saw me use. I like that sharpener, but I would prefer it to be a flat bevel rather than a convex edge. It's easier to maintain with other methods. So we are instead going to use Spyderco Sharpmaker, 30-degree angle. Damn it. Okay. Yes, I have used this before. I'm just sloppy right now. I don't know why. Okay. As you can see, this represents a 15-degree angle. If they were on the other side, okay, here's 15. Here's 40. I don't yet know which one this is. If I want to find that out, I need a Sharpie. If you want to find out what the angle of your edge is, one of the ways you can do that, you preferably want to start with the most aggressive angle you would use or that you would check. Mark the edge of this knife with a Sharpie every couple inches or every half inch or so on a small knife. Mark a couple spots, flip it over, mark the same. Basically, you want marks along the edge of the knife that fully cover the edge bevel so that you can sharpen those away. You can abrade those away and see where they are. So now with a 40 degree, I'm going to run you through here. And I'm going to see that that is removing metal, I think fairly high. Oh, on this side it's actually fairly low. Oh, yep. Oh. You want to do it with the tightest bevel you can first. Apologies. You want to do it with the tightest or most acute bevel first, because that will hit the back edge. If you start with the most acute angle, it will make contact further up the blade bevel rather than further down to the edge. If you start with the 40 degree, that will create a more abrupt edge and it will make contact at the edge first rather than higher up the edge bevel. So this, I think I want to go with a 30 degree angle, or at least to start, just to see where I'm at. So as we can see, most of the Sharpie is gone. There's still a bit at the edge. So I'm going to profile this to a 30 degree angle. And I'm going to lift you up a bit so you can see my crotch a little better. This is not an example of how to use one of these, it's just how I use it. And I typically do one side a fair amount, then to the other side a fair amount, going back and forth in order to get the edge. The edge bevel. The bezel. That's looking pretty good. I think I need a little bit more work up at the tip. It looks like I've got that all the way to the edge. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to move to the medium stones. The browns. I'm going to go there. That's looking pretty good. I think I can actually see either a bit of Sharpie or the what is that called? Or little edge coming off there. I'm sure. I'm gonna keep going with these. The medium stones take, or the stones themselves, I think, take quite a while. You want to be careful working up at the tip, not to go back and forth too much, because you can slip off and then jam the tip right back in. So for the tip, you really want to come all the way across. You also don't want to really knock it over, because that can start rolling the edge and the tip. Like that. Just like that. Fine stones now. And then we go back and forth. Not sharp. Just as a test, let's do a bit of stropping and see where we're at. I can tell that the burr is not extremely large. It's fairly fine, which is typically indicative of a sharpening system where you are cutting into the edge rather than cutting away from the edge. Well, if you draw the knife across the stone this way, you typically develop a bit less of a burr than if you draw this way. Is it the best shaving sharpness? No, I've made sharper. But that is pretty damn sharp. Piece of paper. This is Amarillo College programs and classes catalog paper. So it's like newspaper, maybe a little thicker than newspaper. Why are you having trouble there? Come on. Trying to be impressive here. Ah. Okay. Aha. Well, it's fairly sharp. And that only took 16 minutes to testing paper. This, by the way, is a Knives Plus strop block. And there is a sharpened kitchen knife.